So I'm assuming you love Vore, and Vore is one of those things that is kind of interesting. It's all about snakes, dragons, and all these reptiles, when mammals swallowing you up, birds swallowing you up, and snakes and all that. All these things that swallow you up whole, and you go through the body, and just a thing for the Japanese, I guess. So what is the deal with this war? And what was your real happy place? So war is more like an escape from reality. I'm pretty sure of it. War is a thing that you love and it feels good, and if it goes to reality, you hate it. Well, let's just slowly, you know what I mean. So you're watching this war video, and your father comes in, and you identify as a boy. So your father comes in, and he sees this Vore video. He doesn't understand what it means, and he thinks that you are just watching it just to pleasure yourself. He says, "Now this is what I would say if I were your father. I would say, son, I don't care if you feel good or not. I just want you to be happy. However, remember when you were a child, when you were 4 years old, that you would be happy in the backyard playing all these fancy games with your brother and sister. You would always be so happy when you were 4 years old. You were never depressed. You always wanted more to be happy. You always wanted to be more happy, and all you wanted was playing with the other kids. All you wanted was social interaction. All you wanted was to be a regular kid. Now you're an adolescent teenager, and you're watching this. I notice that you've been not happy, but more depressed. You've been trying to get out of reality. You've been trying to get out of what you hope is a painful a painful real life moment. A painful real life everything is painful because you don't like what's in the real life in reality. However, if you believe in fantasy more often, you'll not escape reality. Matter of fact, this is more like an escape from reality. And the more you want to go to fantasy, the more reality hits, and you'll be more depressed. This is what reality is. War in the real life is a snake eating a mouse hole. It is a frog eating a bug, an entire bug, just with its tongue. A chameleon eating an entire bug. And what these snakes and other creatures do when they eat something whole is they actually don't eat a whole. They actually just chomp it down and bite it into pieces. There's blood involved. Now I know this is going to be painful for you to understand, but I want you to escape this fantasy. This fantasy, this Vore, is not making you happy. It is escape of you unhappy, but if you want to escape more, you'll be even more unhappy. Vore is just a fantasy made up by someone who wanted to see more fantasies. Now, I'm going to call it what it is. It's called perversion. And this perversion is making you depressed. While you think it's just a sexual fantasy, it's actually just making you more depressed. It's making you less masculine and less feminine and more fake. Now, if you want to go back to real life, I urge you to go to God. Because Jesus is the only way into a more happy life. I know things are being sad in your life, but honestly, Jesus is the only way out. All you have to do is accept him into your life. And this sad life is going to come back as a happy life in the end. You may not be happy in real life, but I'd rather you be in heaven and be happy forever. Don't go to hell. Because that's the most sad place you'll ever go to, the most aggravated place you'll ever go to, the most angry place you'll ever go to, and the most miserable place you'll ever go to, the most painful, most everything bad. Remember, you don't have to be so sad and so deprived of real life. You don't have to go to this fantasy. You don't have to go to this world where you think you're happy but you're not. Because it's making you happy for a little bit, but the real life is going to make you even more unhappy. The real life is going to make you even more unhappy because you're just going to a fantasy. And as a person that wants to make people realize that there's better things to do out there, there's better things to do than to be the way you are right now. There's love in this world, and I love you. You may not realize it, but I love you. Not in a way you understand, but in an agape way. I care for you. I don't want you to be harmed by your own fantasies. I don't want you to be harmed by anyone. I'll do anything for you, Lord willing, that you are in the right hands and definitely in God's hands. Good luck. This is what I would say as a father to a child that is watching Vore, because he is maybe depressed, maybe he's just trying to escape reality. Because let me tell you, Vore is the most amazing. Vore is the most, I would say, like it's big. It's big. It's basically the biggest fantasy you can ever have, because escape from reality, that's probably the biggest one. I would say, there are a lot of fantasies out there, but this is biggie, because these people, when they feel horrible, they want to go to a fantasy. And honestly, people are just feeling more and more depressed these days. They're more apt to do horrible things because they don't have the love of God. And let me tell you, if you accept Jesus into your life, into your heart, things will change. You'll have this most beautiful feeling at first, and then you have a knowledge of understanding. Sometimes it's a process of elimination of what you believe in. Sometimes it's immediate knowledge. So it's okay to be unhappy. It's okay to be sad. However, in this case, if it has anything to do with religion, it's something to do with the fact that people are using it to escape real life, and that the enemy is inventing all this stuff. And honestly, believing in, Japanese, Chinese, and American and European stuff. That's just an escape from depression and from reality, from anything that is sad. So, in my opinion, and in my humble truth, it's okay to be sad, but it's not okay to use that sadness to go against your own will and your own body. There are better things to do out there than to be truly sad. And honestly, I think it's okay to be affectionate towards others, just to be married and actually have kids. That's actually biblical. But to be alone, to be sad, that's not what animals and us and all the creatures of the world were meant to be. They're meant to have each other. They're meant to have a real life happiness. And honestly, boredom can be a sign of depression. Even a messy room, even everything is as, including messy, is a sign of depression. And if you feel bored, honestly, just go out and also just talk to a lot of people. Go to your parents, and if you ever feel bored, please, I'm begging you, talk to someone. If you have COVID, well, I know a lot of people are not believing this, but a lot of people that are bored, they just don't realize what they're really feeling. Boredom is a part of depression, in my opinion. Boredom, that's when you need to talk to people in real life. If you live in a city, if you have someone to take you somewhere, go right ahead. If you have COVID, well, just try to breathe. If you have everything else, if you have no one to be with, then try to get friends. Just don't go to a beer or any club like that right now, because it's just a mess right now. It's just, don't do that right now. However, if you have friends, just have 4 or 5 friends, just talking to them in real life. I know. Okay. What do you mean? Well, is this talking on YouTube too? I saw this on sorry, my voice is weird. I saw this on my YouTube account, and I saw that people are more interested in this than anything else, so I decided to make another video about it and help someone from whatever issue they might have, get them to believe in God and all that, because Jesus will help you no matter what. I know you might think, well, it's not anything spiritual, but if you think about it, the things that are going on right now they're very spiritual. A lot of things are going on that are spiritual, are just, it's kind of chaotic. However, this real life, you know, kind of needs to be addressed. However, a lot of people that really live for, which I am not really into, they just, I don't know, it's like they want to be comfortable, and that's what I want you to get to, because if you really want to be comfortable, just snuggle up with a lot of pillows and just don't think about that. Just think about being on in a cloud. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Just Sorry. Just imagine going in a cloud and snuggling up with a cloud, in a warm cloud, with, I don't know, a little bit of a flame underneath and rain underneath. Just imagine, being in a cloud. Because in real life, going in a, let's say, a snake, first we have, what do we call the esophagus, maybe the third, oh, who knows. But first we have that, which if you break that, then the animal dies. Then you go to the stomach, which I believe the acids in there will turn your skin into a gooish, blackish kind of substance, and that's disastrous. And then after that, you go to the intestines. I meant stomach anyway, but in its intestines, where you're smothered up with whatever you know what I mean, and even smothering up that by that stuff, you will die. And all the acids and basically being broken up and all that covering of your body with let's say, I don't know, like being buried underground with all that stuff, Let's just say that in real life, you're as dead as ever once you've been eaten like that. You're more than dead. You're smothered in death, let's say. However, the point is, it is just not really a fantasy. It's just a thing that people escape. It's more like a thought that came in someone's head. I know where it came to, but it was a thought that came in someone's head by the enemy, I believe. And honestly, it was just they wanted to think about that, and then it happened. Then someone invented it, and it was first invented by a devil. And then later on, it was just published. Everything that is, let's say, published online, most of it has been invented, let's say, in the early days in BC times, by the giants, by the sodomites, you know what I mean. Then there's more inventions and more horrifying things that happen today. And still, people are just wondering, okay, how is this even so bad? How is this even so spiritual? Well, let me tell you something. Anything that's spiritual, you better know that is mostly something that is against us. However, if it's from God, you're probably most likely saved. So remember, just remember, Vore is an escape to think about something other than being bored and sad and all of that. However, you can be on. You can. It's however, it's more like an attack from the enemy that's trying to make you even more sad. On the other hand, instead of doing that, you can do things with like other people and be happy with them. You could do more, let's say, activities. You could do work. Anything you could do. Just don't be lonely, okay? For a lot of you, you have cars. You can go somewhere. You can try to get some work. You can try to get some. I mean, if you don't live in a third world country, of course, even then you can. Some of these people have cars, but just remember, I care for you guys. I care for you guys. Even then, God bless, and hopefully You'll understand that. Sometimes boredom is really depression. Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.